Hello once again, Kirby here from Grace Counseling Center. This time I'm meeting you guys for Marriage and Relationships Part 3. Now, today is quite important because it's all about feminine energy. I just put here FE energy, feminine energy or female energy. And the springboard question for this one is your husband not communicating, right? So I plan to make it, is your husband not, you find that your husband is more distant, he's more closed up nowadays. And when you start looking to the past, in the dating days, in the days of courtship, you start remembering things that, hey, he's actually equipped for emotionality. He's actually a sensitive person. He's actually an emotionally expressive person before. We communicate during the dating days. 10 years into deep marriage, 20 years into deep marriage. Suddenly he's quite distant, he's quite aloof, doing his own things. And sometimes we have to encourage the wife, why don't you invite the husband for communication and stuff? But he still channels away. So what's been happening here? Again, this is a very nuanced topic, right? So marriage and relationships. And I have to clarify my target audience. My message for today is that when this is happening, I'll give it to you straight. When this is happening in the marriage, meaning in the earlier days, you fell in love with the guy. I'm speaking to the wives. You fell in love to a guy who's very expressive, very communicative. Then suddenly, in the course of marriage, you feel him starting to distance away. Most of the time, this is due to the feminine energy dissipating. The feminine energy dissipating. Now, what do I mean by this one? Guys, male psychology, we are hardwired for the damsel in distress. It's called the myth, the archetypal image of the knight in shining armor. And you want to trigger this energy system within the guy that I want to feel important. I want to be needed. I want to be helpful. I want to be in charge. So that's the point. So again, the damsel in distress, the girl next door. I know some of you do not like these female profiles. But so if that's the case, it's a different topic. For now, let's just say during your dating days, I'm speaking to the couple where you have the common profile that the guy is the dominant individual in the couple's unit, and the female, soon to be the wife, is the submissive one. So I believe you know where this is headed. I'm speaking about female dominance. So nowadays they have fashionable names to talk about this, to lure females into this. Sometimes they call it the boss energy, the boss female, the lady boss, which is not good news when it comes to marital energy systems. Now, why is this? Again, I'm saying this straight because males are not trained to respond to females who try to dominate them. What usually happens here is you trigger a past personality profile we had during childhood, and we start acting like children. So please keep this in mind, right? So first, I'm targeting the wife dominance in the marital system. When the wife behaves like the mom, or when the wife tries to dominate the system, it pushes back the guy, and we don't know how to respond. But by that, I mean we have two ways in our scripts. Number one is to keep quiet, avoid a fight, go away. And the other choice is shock and awe. I'll come to you, man, with all my arsenal, with all my weapons. And you know what happens when you're having conflict with guys who have conflicts. War happens, blood splatters somewhere. And your husband, out of love and respect for you, we do not want the second option. So when we feel insulted, when we feel disrespected, when we feel dominated needlessly, unfairly, and unjustly, this is our feeling. We have more or less no choice but to act like kids. So we either rant a bit, then move away, or keep quiet, keep silent, yeah, for the most part. And this is to avoid World War III or whatever you call it, right? So please take note about this one. And this is the main message for today, right? The confusion for this one comes because of mixed messages from the media. Like what I was saying, it's the lady boss, the boss wife image forced into us by modern day media, which is, I believe, some preachers will call it demonic, some would call it for me, it's just not helpful for the marriage system. So some of you would say, why are guys that insecure? I would say yes, we are that insecure in the sense that we are supposed to be the head of the organization called the family. And if someone challenges that position, whether it's another guy or whether it's someone within the family, I will have to defend my position. It's just a communication problem for us guys that we don't have midways or adult ways to communicate with this. We'll either use shock and what I call shock and awe, raise our voice, show force, or move away. Yes, dear, I give in to you, I give in to you, until no communication happens already. So I will be fair, and this message is for females, for the wives. I'll be fair, and I promise the next video for marriage is to address the guy's version of this one, because I'm gonna throw some verses which you may feel that I'm targeting you females. Yeah, you want females to be subjugated. It's not that. It's just that this is the Lord's design. I always go back to the instruction manual. What did the Creator say? Yeah. So again, it's not for us human beings to dictate that man should be like this, female should be like that. It's Bible and Bible alone. And what does the Bible say about this one? God's design is the Bible, and this is what I follow. This is what we should follow. So He knows what's best for His creation. So I'll quote some verse here about the wife's role. So some of you're wondering, as a wife, right? What energy role should I play? Should I play the brave woman? Should I play the boss woman? Should I take care of my husband, who's supposed to take care of me? I'm giving you a hint there. So my husband won't get out of bed. Do I kick him awake? So should I be a friend? Should I be overly submissive? And this is what the Bible says. Guideline from the Bible, 1 Peter 3:1. I don't want you to hate this. I don't want you to hate this. And believe me, there's wisdom here. And from this video, from these wise verses, I promise you, your marital relationship will change. 1 Peter 3:1. Wives, likewise, be submissive to your husband. Now, the Lord doesn't mean this in a demeaning way. He has something for you. This is a wise statement. Be submissive to your husbands, that even if some do not obey the word, they're jackasses, they're not doing their jobs, even if they do not obey the word, they without a word may be won by the conduct of the wives, by your behavior, by your submissiveness, by your feminine energy. You can still win them back. So what this verse is saying is that if you're not satisfied with your husband's performance, lack of leadership, and we'll talk more about this in the guy video, the lack of initiative is what they usually complain about in marriage therapy, right? Lack of initiative, lack of leadership, lack of spiritual leadership. Even if you have all those objective, fair complaints, the Lord is saying, hold your horses. Don't kick them and don't match their male energy. All right? Submit. See what happens. Hold on. Listen to me. Colossians 3:18. Wives, submit to your own husbands, as is fitting in the Lord. There is wisdom there. I'm going to give one more. Ephesians 5:22. We have 3 witnesses now. Well, 2 are Paul. Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit to your own husbands, as to the Lord. So again, these are not commandments that, hey, you obey or will punish you. Actually, no. Peter is saying, use your wisdom. This is the way to handle men. So move slowly. Do not match their energy. Even in the workplace, you don't like a guy colleague, you don't match fire with fire. Females are water. You fight fire with water. And I'll show you how, right? All right. So back down and tone down the boss energy. Those are lies from the media. And I know some preachers, I've heard some preachers say that husband and wives are equal in the family. The Bible doesn't say this. Now, again, personally, I kind of wish in my foolishness, sometimes I want the wife to be leading. I want the wife to handle things for me. Sometimes I want to, but God calls that laziness, man. You are the husband, you are the leader of the family unit, and it is your place. You are hardwired for this, right? So for now, it's the reversal of the dominant system that leads to the collapse of the communication systems between husband and wife. So husbands has to have a higher authority as compared to the wife. Yeah. So I don't buy the preachings where they say husband and wives are equal, but husbands have the final say. Then you're no longer equal, right? Husbands and wives are equal, but husband's the head of the family. So where's the wife? They say the wife's the neck, yeah, and stuff. It's not equality. So again, and the good news for this is that for the wives, I'm speaking to the wives, the good news for this one is you have someone to rely on. Oh, how I wish I have a boss to take over things, to be responsible, right? To be responsible for my mistakes. So sometimes the wives can make mistakes, but in the end, the buck stops at the husband, who's the head of the family. So again, there's wisdom for this one. So okay, don't attempt to challenge the authority of the husbands. Okay, we'll talk more about this one. We don't know how to react to that. Yeah. So again, I'm reading some of my notes on this one. I'm journaling to myself as well because sometimes me and my wife we have some discussions, frictions. We have some fights. Yeah. And normally, her complaint to me is that I usually go from 0 to 100. 0 to 100. Either I disengage or I raise my voice a bit. And here comes the truth of it all. Males are 1 and 0 creatures in the sense that we either have testosterone or we don't for that moment. So we either run away. Fight or flight is a guy reaction. So we either go from 0 to 100, which I don't like. So I shut my mouth and just move away. And what the wives will do is, hey, you come back here, man. Let's deal with this like adults. They're staying in the gray area. And guys don't know where to place themselves, right? Should I exert my authority on my wife? Maybe it's too harsh, causes guilt. I'm not built for this. Culturally, I'm not built for this. So move away for now. Let's cool down. Let's talk later. So again, more about this in the male video. So what I want to focus on for the wives right now, I'll give you something golden and something free. So what most people don't see in 1 Peter 3 is actually verse 2, which I will share for this one. 1 Peter 3, 1 is Peter telling the wives to submit, right? Even if the husbands are not doing their jobs, right? So just use water to deal with fire. Next verse. When they observe your chaste conduct accompanied by fear. It's a short verse. But 1 Peter 3, 2 here is saying that, hey, your gentleness, your kindness, your feminine energy will transform your husband. So I've dealt with this. I'm giving you something very, very precious here. In most of my, I deal with married relationships, marital relationships. I deal with couples, back in the rooms down here. And most of the time when I encounter husband and wives with the similar kind of disagreements on this one, right? So the wife, the husband will come back home from work, and the wife, how do you handle this? When you feel that your husband always comes back late, knowing that they're from a hard day's work, the wives will start, I would say, putting up the boss energy and say, why are you late again? Oh, late again. Sometimes worse, they use sarcasm. How do you expect guys to react when you throw away sarcasm, right? So I'm giving you something very, very valuable, and it's a wife did to me. Yeah? So for the wives, fight fire with water. If you have a husband that's working, has no time for the family, try this one out. You just pause and tell him, thank you for working for the family. You want to add more stuff? Thank you for working for the family. I know it's not easy for you. I know it's a sacrifice for you. Countless times I've seen guys break down here. I asked their wife, tell it to your husband now. Say these lines to your husband, even if you don't mean it. Look your husband in the eye and say these lines. Thank you for working. Thank you for working for the family. There, instead of saying, why are you always like this? Why are you always like that? Now, what happens there is the boss energy comes out, right? The masculine energy comes out, and your husband, in a sense, doesn't know you anymore because he dated the damsel in distress. Now you're acting like him or acting like his competitor, right? So they move away. Now you shock him with water instead of equal amount of fire and tell him these lines. Or if you have your lines of your own, gentle lines, lines from grace. You pray from the Lord, pray for wisdom. What are the words? Not magic words. What are the godly words that can melt my husband? Yeah, so this is what 1 Peter 3:2 means. When they observe your chaste conduct, when they observe your mouth, your tongue. All right, so I'm closing down here. Think about this. Kids see their parents as gods. That's why they hear a booming voice and kids listen. Guess who husbands listen to? We are not designed. So our parents, we don't listen to our parents anymore. We listen to the woman we trusted our kids' lives to. So, all right, so you are that woman. Dear wives, you're that woman. So I'm going to give you this reminder as a parting reminder for the wives here. You and your tongue. In the Bible, your tongue and your mouth, you have more authority. You have more juice than you think you have. Your authority over your husband is God instituted, that when you speak, the husband hears the voice. So use it with grace. Use it wisely. Don't use it to punch and counteract your already badly beaten husband from work. All right. So let's ease up on this one. Calm down the relationship and see how the husband transforms. So this is the wisdom from the Lord, and this is how the Lord instituted the male and the female energy. So again, yeah. So right, it's always the females, the wives, who lifts up the husband, honor the husband. Then I'll come back for the next video. Husbands, love your wives. So it's hard to do that, believe me, as a guy. It's hard to do that when my wife is more manly than I am, meaning that the boss energy is there. Yeah, so we don't want this. So butter up your husbands, butter up their hearts, keep their guards down, use your wifely words instituted by God. So again, I'm going in circles here. God bless everyone. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for this video, for all the wisdom that He's giving us through His word. See you again.